Okay, I want to open the meeting. Good afternoon, January 6th, 2022. Can you believe it? Happy New Year. We're all safe and healthy. Everybody looks great, of course. Okay, I'd like to read the statement that this meeting is accessible to people with disabilities. Microphones and telephones will be used by all speakers. Large print materials are available upon advance request. If you would like either of these accommodations, please contact Mary Waldron at 508-533-1833, extension 202. The notice of non-discrimination rights and protections to beneficiaries with regard to the federal Title VI/non-discrimination protections and the state non-discrimination protections is posted in this meeting room. It is available on the Old Colony Planning Council website. Please contact Mary Waldron at 508-583-1833. And she is at extension 202 for more information. And thank you all for joining us. So I'd like to call the meeting to order. And if Charlie, if you wouldn't mind doing the roll call.
That's actually going to be me today, Noreen.
Oh,
I'm taking over that responsibility. Abington.
Johnstone.
Bruce Hughes, alternate.
Avon. Bridgewater. Brockton.
Brady Winston.
Duxbury. East Bridgewater. Easton. I'm not sure if something's wrong with your microphone, Greg. I saw you talking, saw you unmute yourself, but we couldn't hear you. I still can't hear you. I can see you. I can tell you're talking. All right, we'll take that thumbs up as a present. Halifax. Hanover. Hanson. Kingston. Pembroke. Plymouth. Plimpton. Stoughton.
Here.
West Bridgewater. Whitman.
Here, Noreen.
Alternate here. Dan.
Very good. MassDOT Boston. MassDOT District 5.
Hi, everybody. Barbara LaChance.
Welcome, Barbara.
Thank you.
And BAT.
There's a few of us here. Glenn Kyler.
Very good. Welcome.
Did you get Michael and Abigail?
Yes, I can see both of them. Thank you
Thanks,
very
Sean.
much for joining. And if there are any other people present that would like to make themselves known, please unmute yourself and state your name and your affiliation.
John Haynes just joined us.
Dan McCormick from Beta Group.
Rob Cahoon, VHB.
Greg Lucas, Environmental Partners.
Dan Murphy, Tie and Bond.
Lisa Sherman, CDM Smith.
Okay, and it looks like the only other person is Rachel McCaffrey from Mass. Oh, you just unmuted yourself. So yes, Rachel McCaffrey from Massachusetts Safe Routes to School. Thank you, everybody, for being here today. Moving on to agenda item 2, public comments. Are there any comments that anybody would like to make? Okay, going on. Agenda item 3, minutes of December 2nd, 2021 meeting. Yes.
Want
Want to hand it back to Noreen?
Oh,
Yes.
I'm sorry.
Yes.
Thank you.
Communications, I think that would, no, item 3, which is minutes of December 2nd, 2021. Hopefully everybody had a chance to read the minutes. Do I have a motion on the floor for acceptance of the minutes?
I'll make a motion, Dan Salvucci.
Second that motion of Dan's?
I'll
The minutes?
second.
All in
Stoughton will
favor?
second that.
I have a second. All in favor?
Okay.
Opposed?
Noreen, I abstain. I was missing last month.
Okay. Everybody votes in favor, accepting Dan. All right, minutes carry. Item number 4 would be communications, and that would be Sean.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. One of the first item on the communications for this month is a correspondence from the mayor's office from Mayor Robert Sullivan regarding the need to invest and upgrade the old Colony commuter rail lines, reevaluate fare structures, provide strategic double tracking at the JFK UMass as well as Quincy Center stations, and reconfigure the red line at the Savin Hill station. And here is a copy of the letter written by Mayor Sullivan. The next item is a FTA webinar on the bipartisan infrastructure law. The FTA will be hosting a webinar January 7th, tomorrow at 2 p.m., which will be discussing the authorization of up to $108 billion for public transportation over 5 years. And if you would like to attend this webinar, please click on the link and the provided link and register for the webinar. The next item is multifamily zoning requirement for MBTA communities. It will be a virtual webinar hosted by the Massachusetts Executive Office of Housing and Economic Development. It'll be hosted January 12th at 1 p.m. And for more information or to register for the event, please click on either of the links in the staff report. The next item is about the 2022 Mass Trails program. The next grant round is now open. Applications must be submitted online by 11:59 p.m. Tuesday, February 1st. For more information, please click on the provided links. And if you have any questions, please contact Amanda Lewis, the program manager, at the information provided. The next item is the Scenic Byways Program. Federal Highway announced a competitive grant funding program that will make $16 million available in the upcoming years. National legislation has the following types of projects are eligible for this grants: state and Indian tribe scenic byway programs, corridor management plans, and highway safety improvements. For more information, please contact Christopher Clem at MassDOT at this contact information. And that is my report.
Thank you very much, Sean. I'm going to move on to item 5, which is reports. And the first one would be Brockton Area Transportation Batch. Glenn or Michael.
Thank you, Chair. In the short term, our priorities continue to rest in the areas of both service and safety. Not too much new to report on either of those categories, although generally speaking, good news. Our workforce continues to both either keep up on vaccinations or testing, and we have not had to change our service at all due to workforce levels, which is great news. And everyone at the moment is happy and healthy. Ridership, as you know, has been hovering around sort of the 55% mark as compared to pre-COVID, although December was a little bit stronger and got closer to about 60%, which is good news. We do expect January to be a tough month between inclement weather and this recent spike in cases. But if December is any indication, we should, once this is over, hopefully we'll get back on track, inching back up toward our previous ridership levels. In the more midterm, we continue to make progress toward the next sort of generation of transit for the Brockton area. Two key areas there are the electrification of our fleet. So we're working with MassDOT to acquire funding so that we can purchase our first electric vehicles and the infrastructure that we need to run them. And then we're also working on converting our Rockland service from what is currently a flexible fixed route to a curb to curb micro transit service that would connect downtown Brockton to all of Rockland. And so we'll be excited to provide updates on that as we move forward.
That's great. Thank you so much, Michael. Any questions for Michael? Hearing none, I'm going to move forward to the Greater Attleboro Regional Transit Authority, GATRA. And I think that would be you, Sean, again.
Yes, it is me, and there is no update for this meeting.
All righty. And the next item would be the South Coast Rail, Sean.
Yes, so the South Coast Rail continued with their progress in the completion of phase one of the project, which is still on schedule to be completed by 2023. In the month of December, they continued 24-hour bridge and track work in Fall River, as well as 24-hour work adjacent to the East Taunton site, 24-hour drill shaft work in Lakeville, demolition of the Weaver Street Bridge in Fall River, which is supposed to be a very lengthy phase of this project. I believe it's supposed to take a couple of years to do that. At least one, I know at least 1 year, because it's a very very extensive aspect of the project. And then just continuing daytime construction at the station sites and layover sites, transportation of soils overnight to 3 of the sites. And if anybody is interested in signing up for the weekly updates for this project, you can click on the provided link and enter in your contact information so you can be emailed the update reports.
Thank you, Sean, very much. Any questions for Sean? Hearing none, I will move forward to item 6, which is old business, which is the FFY 2022 to 2026 Transportation Improvement Program. And that would be Charlie.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. So we have an update on 2 projects within the current TIP, which is 22 through 26. The first project is on your screen. Sean, could you go back one?
Oh,
Thank
sorry.
you. So Avon Stoughton, that was advertised back in November, and for construction bids, and the low bid was 6.6 million. It was submitted by PJ Keating of Lunenburg, Mass. So that was project number 1 that was advertised. And on your next screen, there's the Pembroke project, the Route 36 from 27 to Route 14. That was advertised for construction bids by MassDOT last month, and the bid opening is scheduled for January 19th. The good news here is both roadway projects programmed in Federal 22 have been advertised, and this is in the first quarter of the federal fiscal year. So in all likelihood, we can see construction activity on both of these projects in the springtime or early summer. And point out that the Pembroke project was a $10 million project, so in the long-awaited project, so it was good to see that finally advertised. And for the rest of the projects, just note that we're working on the new 23 through 27 Transportation Improvement Program, and we will be reaching out to communities, MassDOT, and the respective designers on the projects on the following pages to ascertain project schedules, any obstacles that might be slowing projects up, or on the flip side, any opportunities where a project might be accelerating in the design and permitting process, by which when we will take that into consideration for an evaluation of project readiness. So as we pan through the next couple of slides, I would just invite the audience, if they had any questions on any of these particular projects, feel free to ask away, and we'll see what we can do to provide a response. But I would just table set this also with the new transportation improvement program that's under development. The MPO itself is expected to have a discussion and debate on preferred scenarios of projects at their March meeting, and then ultimately review and release a draft tip for a public review and comment period in April, and then reconvene in May to hear public comments, consider any potential revisions to the project list, and then subsequently endorse said tip. So that's kind of like a high level schedule look forward. So we'll be working on that behind the scenes, and obviously coordinating with our external partners. So as you can see on the screen now, we're moves into the stage where there's a line that says currently unprogrammed projects. So these are projects that have been approved by the MassDOT Project Review Committee and that are actually looking for a funding slot within the financial constraint section of the tip.
Thank you, Charlie.
Welcome.
Any questions or comments from anyone? Okay, thank you so much. I'm going to move forward from old business to new business, which is the high priority corridor study, screening assessment and status report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. My name is Guo Changli on behalf of OCPC project team. I'm very excited to provide you with the status report for high priority corridor study assessment project.
And
as we-
welcome. Welcome.
you.
I welcome you to our meetings, and thank you in advance for your expertise.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair. As we reach a quarter of our timeline for the project development milestone, as you may know, high priority assessment provide an integrated and standalone process and tool for evaluating projects. Next, please. So today, we're going to have a discussion of the project development. You will have an opportunity to review the proposed project evaluation criteria matrix framework. I will also provide you with the estimated timeline for project completion and deliverables.
Oh, good. Yeah.
I will also provide the scoring method and data resources. There will be a few minutes Q&A section at the end of slides, but the overall presentation, it's about 10 to 15 minutes. So for our review of the project, we define clear goals of objectives. So essentially, this is the list of why we are doing this study and what will be accomplished as an outcome for such effort. So it is a performance-based study. We have specific and quantifiable standards for each of the project. This is a data-driven effort. Thanks the rapid advancement of big data technologies. That's why we can get there. It is a multimodal planning process. We are not only considering the motorized vehicle transportation, but also we have focused on other transportation modes, including transit. It is a comprehensive and inclusive study. The effort also aligned with the federal and state performance measure policies. As we are developing this evaluation process, we are also tend to be adaptable to any new technology, transportation mode, and travel behavior. There may be a couple questions, very common questions or confusion of this project. So first of all, is the purpose of this study. So we are going to determine.
I'm sorry to interrupt, Coach Yang, but did you
Yep.
want your presentation shown? Because I'm not seeing your presentation.
Yes.
There we go. All right.
Sorry. Thanks, Sean, for helping me. We are on the slide number 4. Yes. So this is a common question or confusion you might have for the project. So the purpose for this study is to determine the priority for future corridor assessment. So we are not here to determine the funding or the project should be implemented or constructed. So this is a very first step for a comprehensive study or assessment, as you can imagine. The scope of our assessment, we are focusing on the major and minor arterial because the data are easily available, and also arterial roads are the most traveled, high volume and high crash in some of the locations. So we all understand the data will have error during the collection process or data processing procedure. So we will use some tools for validating the data, make sure those data have a good ground and reasonable. Next is the process. So it's incremental, continuous, and inclusive process. So this is not a one-time project. So this is going to require maintenance, update, and improvement in the next few years. The transparency, it's what we would do. We will make the analysis, the data, and scoring result as a public open resources. So everybody have a chance to review them as they request. So the ultimate outcome, the ultimate goal for this project is to provide information for equitable and effective decision-making. Next, please. Next should be a map.
Go back to the map. There we go.
Yes. So we have very clear definition of our scope in terms of the geographic area. As you can see on the screen, we had the latest 2020 inventory data summary. We have over 4,000 miles. This is the lane mileage for the region. So very big chunk of them is the arterial road, almost 1,000. So on the screen, you can see the red line. Those are principal or major arterial, if you would. The blue line is the minor arterial. So those are the area we'll be focusing on. And we are developing, updating a travel demand model. We will include from freeway, arterial, collector, and some of the local roads. I will explain this a little bit later. Next, please. That's the, so as we, that's criteria matrix. I'm very happy to provide a review for you. So as we constructed a GIS data platform, the core value of the assessment is the evaluation criteria. So we will construct, we will establish the profile for each corridor that provide existing condition, but also the future traffic condition. So the future traffic has two biggest components. One is the traffic volume. Another is the traffic speed. So with the increase of population, household, and employment, those are the driving force for future traffic. So not only the number of vehicles will be driven on the roads in the future, but also what will be the traffic speed changes, either in decreased form or increased form. So we have 9 other evaluation category. The first and second is capacity and safety. They are fundamental for all previous traffic study, legacy of traffic studies, but we also add a couple others, including bike and ped, transit service, climate resilience, criticality factor, equity, implementation potential, and physical condition. I apologize, I've read through all this and I don't want to bore you down to the details. Each of them we have defined the quantifiable units and what are those criteria and where do we find those data and resources. And all this will be put into a technical report, and we look forward to future presentation on the details. So overall, we are going to have an overall scoring for each of the segment in our arterial network, but we also have a scoring for each category. Next, please. So we quantify the project and give them scores. And this is a list for the data resource. Where do we get all those data to support our decision, support our findings? The first and second, first is a travel demand model and synchro modeling and simulation analysis. Those two items will be developed in-house. So travel demand model is a computational tool to project existing and future traffic volume and travel speed. It provides greatest detail of our transportation network. As I mentioned in the previous slide, we are not focusing on collector road and some of the local road, but the travel demand model will give us a projection for existing and future condition. Couple others data resource from licensed with MassDOT, including RITIS MS2, and Conveyor. RITIS is a regional transportation information system. We have the opportunity to get those travel speed data. MS2 is more volume data. Conveyor is more for transit, bike and ped accessibility data. We also have impact crash data portal. This is a public information. We also use Google Traffic Archive, which is a private enterprise platform. It's accessible for everyone. We also use Geodot, a lot of GIS files for helping us to populate the project scoring. Next, please. In this slide, I use an example of OCPC office by using RITIS data. So this is a random day on Wednesday in August of 2019. So it gives a real-time and historical data. So if you can, apologize, the screen is a little bit blurry, but on your right-hand side, it's a map for the area. The blue line is to show the congestion condition. If it's a blue line, means the travel speed is lower than the design or posted limit. On the left-hand side is the detailed location, the naming, and the starting and end point for those locations. This map is just for illustration purposes. As you can see from the map, Route 27, Route 28, and Route 123, it's operating under the capacity, which causes a congestion. Next, please. So we plan to put everything together in the next few months, including the modeling and simulation analysis will be completed approximately in March. Sorry, we will continue on developing and validating the network scoring by April. You might be able to see the project that we select from the assessment by May. We also will provide a technical reports, maps, and result summary by June. So overall, the planned time for project completion is September 30th, and we hope to get those results and reports to you as soon as possible. And you do have plenty of time to review, study the details of the finding and assumptions in the process. Next, please. This is, I just add a few acronyms for the key resource mentioned in the presentation for your reference. Thank you. That ends my presentation. I hope you find interesting takeaway from the presentation.
Does anyone have any questions? I think I'd like to go back to the goals, if you wouldn't mind. You know, the beginning there, I had,
Goals and objectives.
yeah, the goals and the objectives, yes. I guess I just had a question on what types of, I don't know if I'm using the right wording, modeling or questions are you trying to answer with this? You're developing a GIS system, a model. What types of questions are you asking to put information in with? Like what's important? I know you talked about congestion and mapping and stuff like that. Is that where all your information is coming from?
Sean, if you could go to that evaluation criteria slide.
Yeah, I think I must have missed something there, yeah.
Just 1 second. Go Chang is having some technical difficulties, so he's just going to take my seat and finish his portion of the presentation.
Okay.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
So Coach Chang, if you could go to that evaluation criteria matrix, that might answer some of Noreen's questions
Yeah, I
and
was
provide a
just-
prompt.
Okay. Yes.
So this shows a lot of the data input that we will be
Oh, putting-
acquiring: safety
Okay.
data, congestion data, pavement data,
Mhm.
level of service, whether or not there's a transit service such as a fixed route bus, transportation equity, whether the arterial falls within an environmental justice polygon. So these are some of the things that are going to inform our data process, and
Alrighty.
all of these will be scored. And then ultimately there'll be a ranking not only by segment, but the overall quarter, such as like Route 27 or 28. And then what we're going to do is stratify it by municipality as well.
So you've developed a scoring system for this
Yes.
of what each item,
Mhm.
okay, all right, so that would be interesting at some point in time if we could look at that too.
Mhm.
You know, just how you know, I'm really interested in that stuff. You know, what's more important than another area, you know, how you evaluate it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. It's a lot of information in that, in your presentation.
Yeah, thank you. If you have
Sure.
any questions, you can always contact us. There's a contact link. Ray
Sure,
and I
sure.
are co-leading in the project.
No, not a problem, that's great. Any questions or comments?
Yeah, Noreen, if I
Yes.
can.
Yes,
I was just looking with this corridor evaluation.
Mhm.
I mean, our traffic seems to be getting congested more and more on certain main roads. And the only alternative is either to make the streets wider to accommodate more vehicles, or to get public transportation on those streets and roads. Do you think this would be valuable to BAT or Plymouth Brockton, if that bus line still's around, I think, or GATRA, to look at this and say, okay, we have very high traffic concerns on certain roads. Maybe we ought to introduce a bus line down that road and see if we can eliminate some of the traffic issues. It's just a thought that I've had.
Yep. If I may answer, that's a great comment. So this screening process is to determine, the area which has higher priority for future development, even though we are not focusing on providing the recommendation, but this is where we started. It's based on the data and the regional impact, regional data. So it's a very first step.
Right, so this would be up to the bus companies, so the transportation companies to look at this and say, you know something? Maybe this is an area where we can help the traffic issues by putting a bus route on that area and see if it helps. It might be beneficial to them.
Absolutely. Can I say something, Noreen?
go ahead, man.
Yeah, and so after we prioritize the corridors, prioritize our areas, in the second step, when we do the actual corridor study, transit should be a big part of that, as well as just we should be looking at all modes, including transit, and assessment of the transit routes should definitely be a part of that in stage 2. Because we need to have some mode shift. That's a big push in Massachusetts to have a mode shift. And as you said, that would help to alleviate the passenger vehicle trips, so to help the congestion.
Maureen,
So
if I
right
could
now-
also
Oh,
follow
sorry.
up. No, it just as a follow-up to what Ray said and others. So I've had the opportunity to be sitting with Go-Chang and as Charlie on this, and just where it's come from at this point. Again, back to his timeline that he presented, where to be September, we're sitting in January. I think that there we go, the timeline. Yeah, but all of this, I think, is really important, that there is time along the way for continual, input, and we'll be having other JTC meetings that this will be presented. We'll have council meetings that are open to the public to, have this be presented. So input along the way is going to be critical. I know Dottie Fuginetti is on this in terms of economic recovery planner, and having these projections and kind of really taking a look about how that all intersects with a development. So it's a beginning. Well, it says Sean Bailey because he's sitting at Sean's desk, but what Guo Zhang has done and in working with Charlie and others on this and Ray, it's really has some great value, and we have more to come.
Beautiful.
That's great. And what I just wanted to add to that, Mary, is that this is such a wonderful framework of gathering all the information and then taking, just dissecting it and, pushing it out there for all of us, to look at. Important. Good work.
Thank you.
Any
Madam
other,
Chair.
any other comments, questions? All right.
So quick follow-up, Chair, if I
Go ahead.
could.
Go ahead, Mike.
And thank you for the comment, Dan. I think one thing that we're taking away from the pandemic is more information about changing commuting patterns in our region. OCPC just finished our annual ridership report, and what it showed is that our city routes have bounced back faster than our Ashmont route. And that is, as has been apparent to most, downtown Boston just simply hasn't recovered at the rate at which our local and regional businesses have. So that there's a change in commuting patterns that has taken place in the short term and may have long-term implications. So frameworks like this to take a look at both congestion and then potential demand will be important to look at as we design our routes and design our services in the future.
Yep, good.
Dan, did you have something to say?
No, I'm all set.
Okay, I just wanted to add to that, Michael, what you just said. Because we're seeing kind of a flight to the suburbs, the people that were living in the cities that were working from home. And now eventually some of those people will stay where they are in the suburbs, and then they'll be moving back into the cities. So I think that, I think there's gonna be more people that will be dependent on transportation in the future. Because now they're settled in new communities and they may be going back, even if it's on a part-time basis. So we may have more people on the road and more people who need, more flexible transportation schedules. That's what I'm saying. Because the pandemic has just changed everything for people. All right, I'm gonna move on to item 7B.
Yes, Sean.
That's Kyle.
Thank you, Madam Chair.
You're welcome.
I'll just wait a sec for Sean to pull that up. Yeah, I'm just going to review the 2021 traffic counting season has come to a close, and we're on to 2022. In summary, it was a good year. We did lots of counts, a lot more than 2020. So first off, every year we get MassDOT ATR locations to complete. And this year we had a total of 24 locations, and those run on a 2 to 3 year cycle. You can go to the next one, Sean. And then ATR locations completed through tasks 3200 and 2200 on the UPWP. We did a total of 79. The bulk of those you can see were in Brockton, Duxbury, Plimpton, Stoughton, and West Bridgewater. And the ones with a single count, we've been doing the before and after COVID locations. And I'm in the middle of doing the analysis for that to compare how the traffic was before. So either 2018, 2019, and then comparing it to the counts we collected in 2021. Next, please. And then as far as TMC locations, we did a total of 16 in Bridgewater, Brockton, Plimpton, and West Bridgewater. And then I'm gonna do a quick demo of the MS2 website, Sean, if I could share my screen, I'm going to do that.
Yep, go right ahead.
It says host disabled participant screen sharing.
Oh. You should be good now.
You all see that?
Here we go.
So it looks overwhelming at first because it's all the all the traffic counting locations in all of Massachusetts show up. So if we zoom into Brockton, or our region, so you can click on any location. And this will bring up MS2 holds historic data and current data. So you can see it has 2021, 2018, 2012, so on and so forth. And then you can get speed data as well as classification data. And all this information, you can download it via Excel or PDF. And then as far as TMCs, this is fairly new, the turning movement count dashboard. It's much better than what it used to be. You can actually search by county. So we go to Plymouth 2021. And then this brings up, these are all the TMCs that we've done in 2021. And then it highlights it on the map here.
A lot of work. Wow.
Yeah, you can raise this, pulls up the turning movements, directional, and you can filter it out by bus, car, pedestrian, and truck. And then you can also pull up the peak hour. So there's a lot of information, a lot of useful information. The link to this website, it's posted on in the staff report. Yeah, it's pretty user friendly. If anybody has any questions, I can answer them now, or you can reach out to me later. Right.
So Kyle, all the regional planning councils and commissions upload their traffic counts to this portal across the state?
Yes, yes, that's correct. Yeah, they give us a deadline to upload all the counts by the end of the year.
Anyone have any questions of Kyle?
No.
Comments? Thank you very much, Kyle. We'll probably have questions probably at the end of the meeting, and they can always get in touch.
Yes, definitely.
All right, I'm going to move on to item C, which is the OCPC drone program update. I think that is you again, Kyle?
Yes, it is. So oh, you can go back to that.
Okay.
screen.
I thought you were going to share your screen for this. Yep.
Yeah, so we've been getting some requests come in for drone missions. We completed one in Plymouth for Obery Street. They completed that tip project, and they wanted some video footage and photographs of the roundabouts and the corridor. And we also did video at the intersection of Obery and South Street that to compare traffic flow for before and after. They're doing some traffic signal calibration for that area. And then other photography and video we've collected at the Bat Center, Brockton City Hall, Hanson Commuter Rail Station, and the Hanson Town Hall. And we have a new request that came in from Plymouth for before and after video and photos for Billington Street from Summer Street to Morton Park entrance. And Sean, I actually will share my screen now. So I'm just going to share some of our photos we've taken and video. The first here is Brockton City Hall. We just did a quick flyover. It's another picture of City Hall. There's a video of the Hanson commuter rail station. This one was done by Sean.
Great job on these.
Wow.
Yeah, it gives you a nice overview shot right here.
Look at all that green space, right?
Yeah.
Great picture of the Hanson Town Hall. That's beautiful.
Yeah, this was a nice one.
Beautiful photo.
And this is when we did the Obery Street in Plymouth, the new roundabout here.
I know there's two of them now, right?
Yeah.
Ovaries.
Yeah, here's the second one.
Yeah.
There's a shot of the bat center.
Kyle, how high up in the air is the drone?
I'm not sure how high this one is, but the max height we can go to is 400 feet. Sean, I don't know if you know if this or what
Really? Wow.
I think this shot might be at 400 feet.
Wow. It still has a lot of clarity.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
There's that. And I don't know if you all have seen the city of Brockton's new photo they put on the website. They voted on, I think we took maybe 9 shots and they voted on this one to be on their main page.
Awesome. Nice work, guys. The photos are just beautiful.
Yeah, so if anybody has any need for drone footage, photography, video, yeah, just.
Kyle, can you just bring that front slide up because it has all those who are pilots. That's just more of an information and thank you.
Yeah, so it's myself, Sean Bailey, and Andrew Vidal are the drone pilots here.
Oh, you guys are good drone pilots.
We're getting better.
Thank you.
Practice makes perfect.
I also want to say that we're looking into having our drone pilots look at parking for trucks, which is an issue in Massachusetts because there's not enough parking along the highways for overnight for trucks. And we have on Route 24, there's northbound and southbound. So we're looking into using the drones to get a snapshot of how full the rest areas are during their peak times, to show the need for more trucking rest stops in the region.
That's critical. That's great. That is really critical because there aren't enough out there. Good project. Good project. That is. Comments from the group? Any questions out there? I love it. What a valuable tool for all of us.
So one of the other things Kyle's been working on, he's just seeing, which communities, there's an analysis of which communities have a drone. There's some communities that have a drone but don't have a pilot. This whole conversation started with Charlie and I with Bridgewater State University and their center with Larry Harmon. And from there, it just has been taken up. And so having the 3 staff members take the exam and move it forward, it's really been very, very helpful, not for just only DPW, for planning, for wetlands, you name it. So
Everything, really, Mary, for everything. Yeah, and just that the drone can go places that we can't go.
That's right.
And you can get pictures of, like on 24, where maybe we should be building rest areas for truckers so they can pull over and rest. And there's many other things. Thank you so much, guys, for moving forward and getting all that expertise.
Yeah,
Congratulations to all our drone pilots.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, if there are no questions, I'll move on. Item 8 is other business. So this would be the community local technical assistance studies, and I think that would be you, Kyle.
Yep, thank you.
Welcome.
So I'll go through the list of project status updates. First off, in Brockton, level of service analysis and crash rate analysis of Route 123 at Quincy Street, Route 27 and Quincy Street at Massasoit Boulevard. This data collection is complete and the analysis is underway for that. Next, level of service analysis and crash rate analysis of 3 Belmont Street intersections. That's for Manley Street, Linwood and Lorraine, and the VA hospital entrance. And that data collection that's planned, probably for this month, we'll get that done. For Plymouth, Commerce Way traffic counts, that data collection's planned for either this winter if weather clears up or in the spring. Survey of Aubrey Street and South Street operations via drone program. I went over that. That survey is complete and the footage that's been sent to the town of Plymouth. And then survey of Billington Street via the drone program. That's in the planning stages. Finally, West Bridgewater, traffic study of Howard Street, Prospect Street, and Walnut Street. That data collection is complete and the analysis for that is also complete. If anybody has any questions, I'll be happy to answer them.
I don't have a question, but I have a comment. When the drones are going to be really nice to look at roundabouts, because years ago when we count roundabouts from the ground, you can't always tell. You can tell when they get on, but you can't tell when that vehicle gets off the roundabout, because it goes around the roundabout. There's a couple of different exits. So this is going to be a really good, useful tool for analysis for roundabouts, because you can actually tell which car gets on and where that car gets off. I don't know if I explained that correctly, but doing a turning movement count at a conventional intersection is easy. You can tell straight through right, but with a roundabout, when you're on the ground, it's a lot harder. But having that over the roundabout itself and watching the operations, it's going to be much more accurate.
Yeah, because doing a roundabout like in person, on the street, you have to watch the car going all the way around. You don't know what turn they're going to take. So yeah, having that bird's eye view is definitely helpful.
Right, and in the meantime, you're watching that roundabout go around the roundabout, that car actually, and you're also having to count cars coming on the roundabout, so you have to move your head a lot to get it accurate.
Yeah, so Ray, to your point, and Kyle, you might want to expound on this either today or later on. I understand you guys are looking into additional software capabilities of the drone that would actually do the data collection, because beyond the video and the picture image, there's software that will actually count the vehicles itself, to Ray's point, coming up with the origins and destinations specifically, instead of having to watch the video in real time and logging it in
Right.
by
Right.
yourself.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yep, that's the other component of it, right? Yep.
So there's
Yeah.
software such as drone deploy, data from the sky, etc., that you're looking into.
Yeah, I think it's very similar to how MyoVision uses their software to collect cars, the turning movements at intersections. They put a video up and it just records and counts the cars right away. So it's along those same lines.
Dan, I think Noreen might have stepped away for a moment. I don't know if you wanted to jump in to the
Okay.
driver's seat. Oh, there she is. Hey, there you are.
All right, though. Item number 18, the staff review of ENF, CIOs, and FPCs. Kyle?
Thank you, Madam Chair. Sean, you can go to the next slide. So we have one new ENF filing. It's for the town of East Bridgewater warehouse facility project. This project site's previously developed. It had a go-kart racing facility.
Oh, yeah.
Several small buildings and paved racetrack, as well as paved roadways and gravel parking lot. The proposed redevelopment, it's consisting of approximately 412,000 square foot warehouse building. It will have office space and approximately 300 parking spaces with tractor trailer, truck storage, and loading docks. They're not sure of the nature of the facility yet. That's to be determined, as a tenant has not been secured yet. Next slide, please. And lastly, we have a public notice for Herring Run Culvert in Pembroke. An application for 401 water quality certification that's been submitted by Pembroke. The project will take place within a portion of Herring Brook and the access road to the Herring Run Historical Park at 211 Barker Street. This will include replacement of the Herring Run culvert and its associated structures. And if anybody has any questions, I can take those.
Yeah, John, I have a question on the East Bridgewater, where they're gonna transform that race car path into some type of a warehouse. Is that gonna increase tractor trailer traffic on Route 18?
So it looks like, let me pull this up.
I mean, that section of
I'm
Route 18 is really,
I'm assuming
It's-
it would, seeing
Yeah.
as they're gonna have tractor trailer storage and loading docks. So that's definitely, that's definitely gonna raise the truck
Yeah.
traffic for sure.
that is gonna, oh my God. That,
Could John Haynes, could I just speak to that project for a moment?
Yeah.
We're obviously here in East Bridgewater monitoring this project. It's a net positive for the town of East Bridgewater, obviously, from a growth standpoint, but we do have I'll say at this point, some reservations about the impact, the potential traffic impact, and we have our own engineering consulting firm that we work with here in East Bridgewater, and we've tasked them with reviewing this ENF, and they are going to be specifically looking at traffic impacts and turning impacts on Route 18. The firm that we work with has familiarity with this applicant, where they also represented the town of Lakeville in the facility that they built there. So we're quite confident that that our engineering consultant that we use here in East Bridgewater will be reviewing that and addressing those concerns, or at least bringing those concerns to the proper authorities' attentions, particularly MassDOT, and the impacts it could have at the intersection of Highland and Route 18.
Yeah, that's gonna be congestion because of the fact that Route 18 is only, well, it's 2 lanes on either side. It does break down to 1 lane on either side. So depending on which area, which direction that the tractor trailers go, if they go down towards Bridgewater Center, trying to get to, say, 495, that area there at the Middleborough Rotary, that is really going to be a cluster, especially going through Bridgewater Center. And then the opposite way, going through Whitman and then through Abington, getting into, if they're going to look to get to 123 or wherever to get to 24, there's a lot of small areas of traffic control that's going to have a big impact on.
From our understanding of the project, it's what's being referred to as a mid-mile facility. So it's not going to have a massive impact on the number of trips per se on Route 18, where Route 18 in that area gets over 20,000 car trips per day. I think they're anticipating between 60 and 80 tractor trailers entering and exiting per day. Our concern really is very local, just on that impact to the intersection at Highland and Route 18 with the turning traffic.
John, if you could share any studies with us, that would be great. This is Ray Garino with Old Colony, because we're doing the freight study, and this would probably, this would be important to our freight study.
We'll do. We're hoping that we get pretty quick turnaround on this because comments are due on the ENF, I think, by January 11th.
Mm-hmm.
It's a relatively rapid turnaround that they're looking for feedback.
Thanks.
Thank you, John, for your comments. Dan, any other questions, comments?
No.
From anyone else, questions or comments? Okay, Kyle.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm going to move on to 8C, which is regional concerns, local transportation issues. Just want to open it up to everyone. All right, we must be in pretty good shape. Happy New Year. All right, thank you so much. Great meeting as usual, and for all the presentations and information. And I think at this time, I'll look for a motion to adjourn.
Motion by Dan Whitman.
Second that motion. Do I hear a second?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The ayes
Happy New Year,
carry.
everybody.
And thank you very much for attending the meeting. And we'll see you next month.
Okay.
The meeting is
Thank you.
adjourned.